Look, I didn't come here to yell at you, okay? I came to tell you that I know what it feels like to be afraid to show who you are. I was, but I'm not anymore. And the thing is I really don't care what people think about me, because I believe in myself, and I know that things are gonna be okay. But even though I have no family, and no job, and no money for college, it's you that I feel sorry for.
Hello, my lovely people, and welcome to another episode of the Redhead Boy podcast, hosted by me, Harry Allen, and it's episode 13. It's episode 13. We're getting super through the episodes. I'm super glad that I've made it this far. People that have known me in the past, I'm kind of a bit crap at sticking with things, but I am super enjoying doing the podcast, and I hope you guys are too. Thank you for everybody that has listened so far. I super appreciate it, and if you've come back time and time again, then thank you so much. And if you're new, then welcome. Today I have a great episode. I have a great guest. This podcast episode is late from coming out, but yesterday I had a brilliant guest on, and my guest was my old school friend, Lizzie Williams. She is a wheelchair racer, athlete, hopefully a Paralympic hopeful for the future. So pay attention, Lizzie Williams, remember the name. We had a brilliant conversation yesterday discussing Lizzie's career as a wheelchair racer, a range of different things, also her work that she's done as a LGBTQ plus ambassador, her work with a range of charities, and she's just an amazing person. We had a great conversation. We went on tangents a couple of times. As people that have listened to the podcast so far, I am prone to go on tangents. We discussed about driving, discussed about loads of different things. It was a great conversation. So I'm not going to chat anymore. I'm going to dive into the conversation, and I hope you guys enjoy it. But cheers for coming on, by the way. I really appreciate it. So it's really good. It's all right. No worries. When I first started it, I wanted to try and get like a range of different people on and everything. So, and then a couple of months ago, I heard you on that. I listened to that podcast that you were on. I can't remember what the name of the podcast was now.
The New Sky one or the BBC one?
Oh, I can't remember. You were on with a filmmaker, and he was talking about showing his
Wonder Kid. I need to watch that. That's one of the things I put down to do this this lockdown is watch this film.
That's right. No, and you sounded really good on that. So I was like, when I first started, I was like, I need to get Lizzie on there and just have a little chat about stuff and all that. So
let's do it.
I just do it to be nosy as well. So it's all good.
Well, that's like the best, best way to catch up with people is just have them on a podcast.
No, it's all good.
Bump each other at Pride this year, so let's do it on a podcast.
No, we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay. Did you want to just start out with like introducing yourself to like hopefully the many people that will be listening?
Sure. So hey, I'm Lizzie Williams. I live in Worthing, South Coast, and I compete as a wheelchair racer. I've been involved in sport all my life, but I finally nestled on the track and a bit on the road.
Yeah, cool. No, thanks for that. It's funny when you always feel like you're in school when somebody says like, introduce yourself, and you're like, hello.
Like a group situation, everyone introduce them.
Yeah. Or like a new job situation, and you're like, I thought we moved away from this.
Have you got an icebreaker for me?
Yeah. Say that. I'd end up thinking of something that I shouldn't say in group situations or something.
Well, you can allow it because this is your podcast.
Yeah. That's why I love, like, because I've been doing like a little bit of hospital radio in Chichester and stuff.
Yeah, I saw that.
And obviously I can't do it at the moment, but I just love it that I can say the word fuck and not get in trouble.
Hey.
Because when I first started doing that, I was like, I really like the first couple of like episodes that I did with my friend that does it on the regular, and then I just pop in occasionally. And well, say that occasionally ended up being like every other week. So but and every time I was like, because the word fuck is sort of in my vocabulary quite a lot, and sometimes I have to say to myself, going, Harry, you don't need to say that as much as you do. So when yeah, so when I started this, I was like, I don't have to worry about what language to say that. I'm not that bad, I don't think. Maybe the people listening are like, I'm terrible, but and every time I upload it on YouTube, I have to click going, this is not suitable for children. So yeah, but I digress, and I will do that quite a lot. So
good. I'm free until 2. I've got training at 2.
Oh, cool, sick.
Good.
Sick, cool. No, yeah, no. Tell me, because obviously we know each other through like school and everything and stuff like that. And you and your twin sister Anna were very much into, like, you've always been very much into sports. I remember at school you were like really good at swimming, and like then you did tennis for a little bit. Now tell me like the journey to as you said, like settling on wheelchair racing. Tell me about that.
It really was just a journey. Like, I don't know, I feel like when I was growing up and participating in sport, I'm not sure if I ever really thought about like making it a career or like being a professional athlete when I grew up. Like, really, I think up until I left Amring when I was in sixth form, because I'd grown up so much in hospital and I was like so fascinated by everything that I'd seen around me. I was like dead certain that I was going to be like a nurse or a doctor or something like that, and I'm just not smart enough, so that was never going to happen. But it took me to break my back to realise that was not going to happen.
Trust me, I date a doctor and he says he's not particularly smart, so you don't have to be like
I know, but I couldn't get through my first year of college anyway, so it was
okay. That's fair.
College or uni, so it just was not meant to be. But we'd always we'd just grown up surrounded by sport, and I think we're really lucky by that. We're really fortunate that our parents were very encouraging, and we were in environments such as Amring, which again heavily encouraged getting involved in sport. And it started off with boccia, I think, at the age of like 5 or 6, something ridiculous like that. Mm-hmm. And we got like our first regional like medal, and it was like, oh, this is nice, this is fun, this sparkly little shiny medal that I have around my neck. I'd like to get a few more of these. And just the more, you go along to like activity days and stuff like that, and you try out table tennis, or you go to a club in the week and you try out wheelchair basketball, and you're just like, I want to keep going with this. And we did that for many years. And then going into high school, you've got Stoke Mandeville, Calvert Truss, and they sort of throw you in the deep end a bit more. You do rock climbing, abseiling, and I just didn't say no to doing sport. I didn't want to, I just enjoyed it. And then wheelchair racing it's such an interesting one, because it seems like such an obvious, like it's such a popular, athletics is huge. Everyone is with athletics. And I never actually tried wheelchair racing, like in a proper racing chair, even though I went up to, Stoke Mandeville. I think I ticked it, on the list of things to do, but I'd always just done it in my day chair. So I never really got that experience of learning a completely different technique in pushing and propelling myself around a track. Until 5 years ago, when I was at Worthing College and I was volunteering at a Sussex disability youth thing over in Littlehampton. So there were lots of young kids from sort of Sussex schools, I guess, competing in disability sport. And I met up with the Amring group because they I had a team of guys, and I got chatting to this young dude, and he was telling me that he was a wheelchair racer. And at the time, I was, the last couple of years before that, I'd broken my back, and I'd had this like massive like moment where I was like, shit, what am I going to do with my life? I don't know what's going to happen now. And it was, at that point, but I realised I wasn't going to go into, medicine and stuff like that and be a nurse. And I went back to college and studied sport. And then I met this kid who was just like, do you want to come to the track where I train and try it out? And it was just like, I remember even thinking of it, like, at the time, like, why say no? Like, just say yes, give it a try and see what happens, like, see what turns out. That's the beauty of sport, is like, you just never know. And so later that week, I think it was, I went down to the track, got in a chair, and off I went. And it was so bizarre to get in a racing chair for the first time, because it's nothing like pushing in a day chair. And I think the more I think about it, the wonderful thing about wheelchair racing, I mean, each sport has its, what makes it special and all that. But with wheelchair racing, you only go as fast as you can possibly push the chair. Mm-hmm. So there's always this challenge of trying to be faster than you were before. And I just love that. Like, I feed off that. It's just like I'm always trying to get faster and faster, which is obviously the goal. And being able to see, the numbers from my personal best for each distance, and being able to get even just 0.01 second off, 100th of a second off of my personal best is like, yes.
Yeah, cool.
The numbers have changed. And that was kind of it. And 5 years down the line, here I am, still wheelchair racing and loving it, and just very confident that this is what I want to do now. And however long it takes me to get into the major championships and get to be a world contender, I'm just going to keep chipping away.
Yeah, no, cool. Yeah, no, that sounds really awesome. Also, it's always good when you have that moment where you go like, fuck, well, what am I going to do with my life? And then it's funny how life, like, suddenly that particular thing will like appear out of nowhere. Like, all of a sudden it will be like that opportunity will all of a sudden appear to itself.
Exactly. And I think it was because of that. And I'm so aware, because of that moment, that when an opportunity presents itself, like I rarely ever say, if I say no, it's because I'm ill or something like that. But otherwise it's like, yes, just sign me up. I don't even think about it twice, because I never think about it twice. I will start thinking about it and I'll be like, oh, I don't know, maybe anxious to do that or whatever. So I just say, yeah, let's do it.
No, that's good. That's good to have like such a mentality like that at a young age, really, because a lot of like kids and younger people automatically wonder, like, am I going to be good at this? Like, what other people are going to think about me and stuff like that. Rather than just
a long time. It did take me a long time. I mean, I'm 24 now, and it's probably in the last 4 or 5 years that I've sort of taken on that mentality.
That's good. No, that's really good. That's the whole way, like, you open yourself up to like new challenges and new opportunities, and like open new doors and stuff.
You never know what you might miss, and I think that's I think I spend too much time just thinking generally about like very deep things, but there's also that fear of what you might miss, and I'd hate to miss out on something awesome because I just didn't take a chance and didn't believe in myself.
No, that's good. I think everybody is guilty of like thinking of something too much, and then it ends up either stopping them completely or they just spend their time being too afraid about doing something.
Exactly.
No. So since you touched on your saying that you got to do training on at 2, how what is actually, you could talk about how you're doing your training at the moment in terms of like, how is that working at the moment in terms of that in lockdown, and then you could talk about like what is like your training routine like in a week or like leading up to a competition. Talk about that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, sure. So generally, I'll start with like pre-lockdown, so where things were,
Yeah.
what my normal routine was. So
Yeah, cool.
generally speaking, training 6 days a week. You have a rest day, obviously, and if you need more, you got to just listen to your body, and if there's any niggles, then you just deal with that accordingly. So training 6 days a week. I'd spend half the week in London, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday I'd be up in London staying with some family friends who would very kindly host me.
Oh, nice. That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
my training group and my coach are all based up in London, so it's quite a long way to go if you have to go up there like every single day. So thankfully they were able to put me
That's
up
good.
for half
Yeah.
the week.
save a bit of money.
Yeah, exactly, both
Yeah.
on tour and like hotels and stuff like that. So I'd get to train with them. We'd be training every day on the track, and then we'd have like a strength session on, I think it was the Tuesday, and then I'd drive back Wednesday evening after the evening training session, and then on Thursday I'd be training again, and both either on the road or on the track, and in the gym with my PT. And then Friday was track, Saturday track or road, whatever, maybe do like a park run or something like that, and then Sunday generally is like day off. Since lockdown, it hasn't changed that much in a sense. Like I'm still training 6 days a week. I've got a little balcony where I've been able to put my racing chair, and I've put it on a set of rollers. So much like cyclists when they're like to cycle, like not moving statically, you put the back wheel on a roll, and that's just how you move. And you do that with the racing chair. So the two back wheels go on a roll, and you can just push away and go nowhere. Not flying off the balcony, which is great. And as you can see, a little like boxing bag, which I use for some of my training as well, and a few like dumbbells and stuff like that laying around, just to sort of fill in the gaps in between, like strength and conditioning, just trying to use what I can basically. So it hasn't, I guess it hasn't changed that much, but when you look at the difference in like the technique used for being like when you're on the track or when you're on the road, it's so much different to pushing on the rollers. Like there's stuff like the compensated changes for when you're on the bends or you're going around a bend, and this, like, I can't practice that really because I'm not going anywhere. And then it's weird to just so it's going to be different when life does return to some normality, whatever that may be. It's going to be weird, but I can't wait to get back on the roads and get back on the track.
I bet it must be like proper itching to get back and everything.
I really am, and like I'm not gonna lie, it is boring just pushing on the balcony, and like I like a change of scenery. And although a track, it's 400 meters, you still get a bit of a change every now and then. With every lap. But just like an hour and a half with not being able to go anywhere, it's kind of like but
so like you haven't got the like excitement bits of like I guess like the feel of like the wind on your face and stuff like that and all that type of stuff. And
it's a north facing balcony as well, so you don't even get any sun.
That's a bit garbage. That's
I know. Didn't do that.
Cool. No, that. And have you been in contact with like your people up in London and everything, talking to them like how you doing and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we've got a group chat on WhatsApp, good old group chat.
Cool.
Our coach sends a session every day, so I'm always in contact with her. And I'll actually, when I'm doing my sessions, I'll FaceTime one of my teammates, Michael, and we'll do the session together.
Oh, sick! That's good.
It's nice to like I for the first month I think we trained alone, and it was just like it was we did it, but it was difficult. And we knew that if we just did it together, that it would just kind of get that extra, like 10% or whatever. Because you can hear the other person pushing, and they're pushing faster, and then you want to push faster, and all that sort of stuff. So it's just, it's been real encouraging.
Egging each other on and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's why they always say, well, for people that don't normally go to the gym and have as much willpower as you, they always say go with a friend. So then they'd be like, come on, you can go. If I go, you need to go. So.
I love it. I can't wait to get back to the gym.
No, you go to the one in town, don't you?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Because I seen, I seen pictures of him in there, and then I've seen pictures of you in there, and then me and Mosh have been sitting like every evening and like eating crap like every evening, and we were like, oh, we so need to get into the gym. And then the other day I had like a Facebook memory of me in the gym in Chichester, and I was like, that was like 2 years ago, and I was like, that's so lazy. and then Ryan Gins commented on it because he works there now partly.
Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah, I know, he's getting huge. He's getting like massive as fuck. So yeah, and he made a comment on going, I don't remember you going to that gym. I was like, fuck off. I did for like I did for like a bit. I did for like probably like a month, and then I stopped for, you know, as loads of people do, they stop for ages, and then I was like forking out so much money, and then I was like, I'm forking out so much money, I'm not going to this thing. But no, I need to hit the gym, really, to be honest. I think you probably would say, and so would like anybody, if you got like a physical disability, if you're actually doing proper decent exercise, you feel so much better in yourself.
You really do. Like, that's no joke. I mean, it's a bit like I'm not even, you know, I'm not much of a walker. I use my wheelchair for most of the time, but even like my legs, man, my knees ache so much these last like, just especially this last month. I can really feel it on my legs. But no, if you really want to, you know, get back to the gym whenever the gym gets back, because it's the gym's problem. The gym's away right now.
Yeah.
just let me know. And like the gym hub's really like cheap. It's like 20 quid a month. So
Cool.
if you want to try it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, I need to, because I put a comment on my hamstrings like really hurting a couple of weeks ago, and then I put on that I was like, oh, my legs are really hurting really bad, because I done like 4 days of work straight, and by the end of that, like the third, fourth day, I start getting like really stiff, and then I get tired, and then I get slightly short-tempered. People can always tell that my legs are hurting because I get slightly short-tempered. And that's fun when you're trying to deal with customers.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I have to remind myself that I'm at work. When somebody's moaning about something and my legs are hurting at the same time, I'm like, ah! And then I think to myself, going, my legs are hurting, and then I'm like, I have to drive home now, which is only like 10 minutes away. But when my legs are like playing up, the last thing I want to do is try and drive.
Do you have hand controls?
No, I use my legs, which is fine. But the only thing that I have is a steering aid on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Just because I can't do the whole, even though no driver, once they pass, they don't do the whole feeding through anyway.
100%.
That's bullshit. But so because when I first started to learn, I couldn't do the whole like the CP coordination, couldn't, like, my brain could not compute how to like do that. I like the way, like, if anybody saw the video of this, it would just look like, you know, really like
a couple of guys in the back.
But so I couldn't do the whole feeding through. So the only thing I have is literally just a ball on the steering wheel. And I've been, my legs are so much appreciating now, because I've only been driving for maybe about 3 months.
Really?
So I passed like just before we all got like locked down and everything.
That's kind of a good thing, though, because like the roads were like dead empty.
Yeah, it was so good. I really enjoyed it. Now when I drive back from work on Saturday, like afternoon, I'm like, where all these cars come from?
Yeah.
It's
not your road.
But yeah, and my twin's been like annoyed that he hasn't, like, he failed his test again right before the lockdown, and he was so pissed off.
What did you find harder, the practical, like the test, or the theory? Because they say it's either like one or the other.
Yeah, no.
Or were you?
I don't know. My dyslexic brain was a bit like putting pressure on myself about the like theory and stuff.
Yeah.
And I managed. No. I actually, both of them I passed on I passed theory on my third time, and then passed the practical on my fourth time. But literally, like, the reactions of me passing was hilarious. People just found me because, you know, I used to be quiet in school, but I'm not really anymore. so, so as a lot of people know, and when I like passed my theory, the lady just looked at me like I was a nut job because I was like, yes, like going like nuts, and then
it took me 5 times.
Did it?
Theory.
Okay, yeah, it's tough. It is tough.
It was emotional, man. Every time I was like, "What's sake?"
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like 1 or 2 points. Just come on.
Yeah, so and I was doing it in Chichester, and where they have their test centre is like the most dangerous place to cross the road. I was like, it's dodgy, but anyway. And then when I passed my practical, because I don't know, did you learn to drive here in Worthing, or did you learn to drive somewhere else?
In Worthing, yeah.
So, did you get the same instructor each time that you had to do your like test?
I did the test, like the practical like car test. I passed that first time.
Oh, cool, sick.
So
Well done.
The theory that took me 5 times.
Yeah, yeah. No,
So I don't test well.
that's fine. I don't really. That's why I'm trying to do a practical profession rather than
an ace driver. But just, I mean, I've got to have to say this right. I remember in the theory test there was one question, and I'm sure I probably failed it. This is probably the one. It was a first aid question, and I think it was to do with, I think there was like a toddler or something that was possibly unresponsive, and they're talking about giving compressions, and they gave 4 different words to describe like the pressure that you like, and you had to pick which one, but they all just sounded like the same. I was like, what is the difference between these words? Like, it was like tripping me up. I was like, come on, I'm not gonna.
Yeah. They always design them like that in every test in life. They're like, these questions sound so similar. What the hell?
Yeah, all the answers were just basically the same, just different.
Yeah, yeah.
Only one of them was right.
So, and the good thing is that when you do pass it, because the lady puts like a little pamphlet about like insurance to your car and stuff. And I saw the pamphlet before she gave me the paper, and then I looked at it and it was like, congratulations, you passed. I was like, yeah. So, and then when I passed my practical, it's my 4th time, and every other time I had the same guy each time. Yeah. Which was kind of annoying, but I could tell he like specialised in like disabled people, even though I was like, okay, how does that even like, whatever that means, because the only thing that I had was the ball and the steering wheel, and that was it. So and every time I did it, I had my instructor in the car with me, and then the 4th time I was like, no, let's just not have her in the car and see how we go. And then I just spent the entire time talking to him while driving round the streets of Chichester. And if anybody wants to, it's quite tricky to drive in Chichester because there's a lot of one-way roads and stuff. So it's quite a lot of pressure in Chichester. But when, I don't know if you felt like this when you like, obviously you passed first time, so well done. But I would, when you've done good. I literally got into the test centre. I was like, if I don't pass it today, I'm going to punch this guy out because I'm going to be so cross at myself that I failed again. And then he was like, oh, do you want your instructor to come in the car? I was like, okay. And then he was like, oh, I'd like to congratulate you. You've passed your driving test. I was like, yes, and like trying not to get emotional. I was like, I'm trying not to cry right now. And yeah, because it took me maybe about 2 years to learn to drive, just because the whole like CP, spatial awareness and everything and stuff like that. Yeah. So and Charlotte was learning to drive. We started at the sort of similar time, and then she gave up, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna try and do this. And then when I passed, my driving instructor was like, see, you'll get there eventually. I was like, yes, thank you so much. Like being really butch and trying like, yeah, I'm so proud of myself. Like,
not me.
So yeah. But anyway, that was a proper tangent right there. So if anybody's like learning to drive right now, you will get there eventually, I promise.
You will, yeah. It's like a really long-winded way to learn to ride a bike.
Yeah, which I never did. So
oh Oh, well, there we go.
So my balance was shit. So I had no like, no, like, yeah. So, but yeah, and then obviously because of the whole lockdown, I couldn't order another car, so I had to take my the car that my parents had been using from my mobility and stuff.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I'm driving a Nissan Juke, which is kind of a larger car for
Yeah.
someone that's driving their first car. So
I had the daddy of that. I had the Qashqai.
did you?
Full boot, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get the squash boot on the Duke. It looks nice, but there's just no boot.
Yeah, no, it's not. No, it's not a large boot, really. It looks like there's going to be a large boot, and then there's not. So,
Yeah, it's like.
but yeah. So, and my mum was sort of like scared about giving me the car because when my older brother first passed his test, he had like a really bad crash, like 3 weeks after, like really bad crash, and he's fine and everything, but he had like terrible, like, you know, and so when my mum was sort of like, we got to maybe like the first month in lockdown or the first how many weeks, and I said to Mosh, I was like, my legs can't keep walking to work.
Yeah.
I just like, by the time I get there, I'm like knackered already, and then I got to do like a day of work. So we braved the train, we braved the like public transport and stuff.
Yeah.
And then my mum was like really nervous about it, but now I love it. I just sometimes have to tell myself to like slow down a little bit. So I'm just I'm just a little bit like, yeah, I'm a little bit hot coming around the corners.
What car is this Duke? Is it the Duke you're still driving?
Right? Yeah. So I want to get what do I want to get? I want to get a Polo. That's what I want to get.
Oh yeah, love Polo.
Yeah, they're nice. They're nice looking cars. So, yeah, I just need to be aware that one's smaller. So if I go too fast around a corner, I might end up rolling the car. So, but yeah, if my mum
thing to keep at the back of your mind.
yeah, if my mum listens to this podcast, I'm just going to be like really concerned. But no.
Rolling is late.
So yeah, so let's get back. Let's get back to the sport conversation. But that was good for anybody that tuned in.
To just go off on a tangent.
Yeah, like if anybody wanted to tune in about driving, then that's fine. We'll move on to that. Move away from that subject now. So talking about with your wheelchair on your like balcony and everything, tell me about your 2.6 challenge. Tell me about that.
Oh yeah, so that was really cool. So yeah, I'm a sport champion for Stonewall, and yeah, I heard of the whole like 2.6 challenge, and they made us aware that they were sort of trying to get some ideas to get like their team members and stuff doing 2.6 challenges, and I just thought, oh, I can do a 2.6 challenge. And then the next thing was trying to think of what can you do as a 2.6 challenge? What could I do as a 2.6 challenge? And I've been doing a lot of sprint work and stuff at the time, so I thought, I could do 26 second sprints. That can be my 2.6 challenge. And yeah, no, it was awesome. I did it live on Instagram. Managed to reach like actually more than I set my target. I think my target was 260.
Yeah, you raised 319.
Yeah, which is just like, that's so cool. It's
well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Really good.
That's all gone over to the guys at Stonewall, which is really cool because they do a lot of great work in the community. But yes, I was really proud of that. I was really chuffed with that. And it's really cool to see generally how the world, I guess, or at least in the UK, you know, how people had just thought, oh, let's get creative. Let's what can we do to make a challenge and raise some money for all these charities and organisations that are missing out and need the funds because they're helping us basically in some way, helping the people, you know, all around the world. So it's really cool to see the response.
Yeah, no. Tell us more like what Stonewall does, like as a charity and stuff like that, if you could.
Oh, I don't even know how to list that. Yeah, these guys have been around for a while, and they're just an awesome organisation helping the LGBTQ plus community. And at the end of last year, they had this great they had this idea to have this new like program sort of thing, like sport work with people in sport, to just, I guess, help create, an even nicer, like safer and more LGBTQ plus friendly environment in sport, which is really cool. And I was honoured that, out of like I think 11 or 12 sport champions, that they picked me to be one of them, which is
sick.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think sport has quite a long way to go in making sport generally on all levels, from grassroots right up to elite sports people. It has a lot of work to do to become a safer, more accepting space. So it's nice to be able to be a part of that.
No, that's good. You must have been like extremely flattered that they contact you and said that they wanted you to.
It was nuts. Oh yeah, I was like, I've been following Stonewall for years, and I guess like you envision sort of like the organisations and the people that you hope to work with or partner with or collaborate with or anything. And I'd always hoped that something would bring me and Stonewall together, because I'd love to work with them. And like when I got the email and they wanted me to be a sport champion for them, I was just like, yes. This is it. I've done it. I've made it. I was over the moon.
Yeah, because obviously as like a sportsman or anybody in like the public eye, you want to do what you love, but also you want to use that particular platform to like share like causes that you love and everything and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it is really important to me, to represent. I mean, it's important to represent all communities and to support all communities. But I'm a queer individual, and I've got my own experiences which I can use to relate and lift up other people who are going through perhaps same situations that I've been through, and that's really special. So that's something that I work hard to try and do.
No, it's good. That's like amazing, especially last year at Worthing Pride, you like led the parade and stuff.
That was
like
so funny. That wasn't like planned at all. We just, because I'm friends with the now former mayor, Hazel Thorpe, and we were just walking along to the parade, and she was leading it. And we saw her and we said hello, and she was like, "Oh, do you want to come join me and we'll lead out the parade together?" And we were like, "Hell yeah!" We had our picnic basket and everything. We just on our way. That was so cool. That was just that was nuts. I love that Worthing has its own pride.
I like, because that was like the very first pride that I've been to. So I've never been to a pride before.
Yes, that's same. I've been to the parade in Brighton. Never the event afterwards. It's just too hectic. There's too many.
No, I went to the Worthing one, obviously, because we saw each other there. And me, like, very extremely drunk, and like you like
wasn't quite.
Especially you going, I can see you, and I was like, and then like it must have been funny because I was with my partner and then with his friend, and my partner doesn't drink because he's Muslim, so he doesn't drink. So so he was just enjoying all the food that day, and then me and his friend would just spend the entire day like drinking from like 11 in the morning till like 10:30 in the evening.
It's like from the comfort of our picnic blanket, I was able to witness the whole thing.
So and then I remember coming over to you and I was like, I'm with my boyfriend, and then I was like, I'm like gay now or bi now. I was like
literally like that.
And then I was like, I was thinking to myself, where you like have your drunk person talking and then your sober person is still in your head going, what the fuck are you talking about, mate? Like, what are you rambling on about? And then I told my partner and he was like, what the fuck? Like chatting on about. But it was really nice to meet Rosa and everything and stuff like that, even in my like
she loves meeting you. She says hi, by the way.
Oh, cool. She's like been making some amazing looking cakes, by the way.
I know, isn't it? It's a good thing I train every day. All the cakes.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that is no. I
She's
would,
great.
but no, I really liked the like intimacy of Worthing. I like it that it's not like this big, huge thing. Because I went to Brighton like the next in August last year, and it was just like it was okay, but it was just like manic and
Yeah,
like exhausting, and everybody was there like high on gas and all stuff like that, and I was like,
exactly. It's kind of
nah,
like it loses like
yeah,
the whole purpose of it, or it's just
yeah,
distracting, and it's kind of like
yeah, and I was a little bit like looking at all the like rubbish on the floor, and I was like, there's so much rubbish here.
yeah,
I was like, I really feel sorry for the council that has to clean up all this shit.
exactly.
But yeah, Worthing's really good. If anybody like is out there and has not gone to the Worthing one, because I think it was only like its second year last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was its second year. So yeah,
Yeah.
this year would have been third.
So yeah, and it was really cool to see like the drag queens and like all the like everybody like properly dressed up and everything. It was good.
It was awesome, and that
So,
local businesses just around, sort of with like food.
yeah,
That was really
yeah,
nice.
yeah. So I said to Tyler that I'm going to try and drag him to one if he wants to go. So
Yeah, well, hopefully, I guess next year will be.
yeah, next year. So so are you got anything like? Are you and Rosa going to do like a little celebration or something, or are you just going to do like this month of her baking rainbow cakes for the entire month?
I'm not really sure. I'm sure there'll probably be some more bakes, but I'm not really sure. I'm kind of just like playing it by ear, just seeing what other people are up to and what other like organisations, if they've got like events and stuff to like support. But yeah, it's a bit hard when
Yeah,
I'm pretty much
yeah,
at
yeah,
home.
yeah. No, I would.
What about
But
you?
no, yeah, just playing it by ear really, and stuff like that. Really, yeah, I got I got quite loud clothes anyway, so. uh, but
Oh, this
yeah,
is on the list.
yes, no, I saw. Yeah, it's cool, sick.
Literally came this morning. I was like,
Oh, did it really? Oh, nice one. Nice one.
yeah.
No, if obviously nobody can see that. No, Liz is wearing like a pride top on, so it's cool. No, sick. I like it. No, it's cool. I would, yeah, no, I think it is really important uh, for anybody that is like in the LGB. I always forget the plus one. I always forget that at the end, the plus at the end.
Yeah, it was hard to like try and remember to do that at the beginning, but I've really made a point of like trying to get the plus. It's long-winded, but
Yeah. My dyslexic brain's like, how many letters are in this?
Yeah, literally.
But yeah, I think it is really important, and as you said, like everybody's everybody matters, and everybody is like welcome to join like in with the fun and everything. I think that's what's so good, that Pride has become like such an event for everybody, which is so cool.
It's an exciting time of the year.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I was thinking about it because I got asked this question recently for an interview, and I was like, it's kind of like Christmas, but instead of like at Christmas you'd go to your families. It's kind of like the LGBTQ community is your family, and you meet all these wonderful people, and it's just so nice.
yeah, and everybody's like uber friendly and stuff like that, and my partner's our friend now, the one that I went to Worthing Pride with, he just like spent the entire day like saying like, oh, I slept with that person. I was like, why are you doing this right now? I was like, don't do that right now. And then yeah. yeah, and then we were like standing in the queue to get alcohol, and then he was like, it's like, my ex is like right behind you right now. I was like, oh, thanks for that. I was like, yeah, no, I think it's I think it's so good, and like the community is like so warm and everything and stuff like that, and yeah, and I think it like, because obviously it took me a while to sort of like say to myself, going, like, honestly going, yes, I'm gay and I like guys and stuff. It is amazing what a breakdown can do. Even though a breakdown is like seriously tough, it generally helped me out.
It's a light bulb moment, though.
Yeah. Would please tell me if I'm being too nosy. You can tell me to bugger off. But would you say was it an easy ride for you to sort of like realise that, you know, that you like girls or not? Or
like,
yeah,
it was,
we don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
No, it's okay. I think it's important, and I think I've definitely got into a place where I'm comfortable to talk about it. And,
Cool.
you know,
That's good. Yeah. Good
I
for you.
I'll be able to relate to it as well. So yeah, no, for me it was difficult. Growing up, my parents had separated. Always been raised in a Christian sort of like environment, and it was my mum who was, you know, particularly very like strict on her views of Christianity, and growing up, she, you know, made it very obvious to me and others, I guess, like my siblings and stuff, that she didn't, you know, agree with homosexuality or like the LGBT community, and I found that really tough to interpret. And I was very aware from a young age, you know, that I wasn't this straight this straight person, and even now, like I wouldn't even identify myself as gay. I think there's such a I prefer the term queer because there are no boundaries, if that makes sense. And I think my identity is more than just my sexuality, but my gender as well. Like, I'm very masculine presenting, and I'm comfortable that way. That's where I'm comfortable. Anyway, I think I went off tangent there.
It's fine.
But, yeah, growing up, I think I spent a lot of my early years sort of resenting my mum, which was very difficult because I knew that at some point I would, you know, come out or whatever, and I didn't know what her response would be. And going off the back of what my impression was her response would be, it wasn't going to be great. And there's just no way to deal with that, and you can't plan for that moment where you possibly think that your relationship with your mum might come to an end or something like that. And it was particularly through high school, and anyone that remembers sort of me through high school, it was something that I found very difficult to cope with. But I think my mum just needed time, and I wouldn't change the way things happened for me at all. I think I really opened my mum's eyes, I think, to be more, sort of open-minded, and just sort of blurred the boundaries for her a bit, and to know that, you know, it's okay, I'm okay, and there's nothing wrong. And eventually, the whole like coming out for me, everyone kind of knew. It was just like my mum that I really needed to like, confront it with.
Yeah, say
tell. And I had met Rosa out in Switzerland, and over the course of a couple of months of first meeting her and then going back to Switzerland, having our first date and everything, and knowing that this incredible human being is just amazing, and she's in my life, and who knows what, you know, the future would hold for us, but I really want to share her with the world. I really want to share her with my friends and my family. And when I went back home after our first date, I was preparing to go to university, and I had these pictures. It's quite a funny story, actually. I had these pictures from me and Rosa out in Switzerland, which I wanted to print off some pictures so that she could have some, and I could have some, so that, you know, in our respective countries we could have a look at these pictures when we're feeling a bit shit. And I'd accidentally printed them off in like A4 size. So I had to reprint them in smaller size, but I took the big ones with me. And when I went off to university, I had these big pictures, and I just left them on my desk at my mum's house. And she's really nosy. I knew that she would find them. And off I went to university. And then a few weeks sort of later, she wrote to me, and she obviously seen the pictures. And it was just something along the lines of, you know, although, you know, you've come of age where you can make your own decisions, And although I may not agree with the decisions that you make, I love you no matter what. And that was just like,
Good.
the
Yeah,
weight
good.
lifted off my shoulders. And
Mm.
you might still interpret that as not the best sort of like answer that it could have possibly been, but for me it was enough. And I knew that eventually, once she got to meet Rosa, and she did, quite soon after that, I think it was a couple of months after that, that Rosa's such a great person. Like, you just can't not love her. And nearly 4 years down the line, they absolutely love each other. I think my mum texts her more than she texts me. So it's like, here we are.
Funny. That's funny.
I could never imagine getting to this point though, and it's just, you really can't prepare and try and understand what life might be like once you've come out or whatever. It's crazy.
Yeah, no. Oh, that's like super nice to see, like, your face like absolute glowing while like talking about her and everything, which is really nice. Bless. Oh no, that's really nice.
I know that story. It's super cute.
Yeah. No, that was like a really clever way of like doing it, really, wasn't it? Really, just giving your mum like a very, well, not hint, but a very like,
It
just
was like, this is literally the picture. Like, this is it. And I knew that she just needed time, and there was no conversation that I think we could have had. I think there was no other way that we could have done it. I think it was she had time to think about it. I was just ready and waited until she was ready to talk about it.
Cool.
It didn't need much, so that was cool.
No, that's good. No, that's amazing. That sounds really good. Yeah. I like, it is amazing how you suddenly, like, me and Mosh have been dating for a year and a half now, and it's like, now you don't picture like your life without that person. It's like you don't expect to ever feel like, I had a girlfriend before and I like loved her and everything, but it was very much like a college relationship. But once you find your person, it's like, it's amazing how much if you're gay, straight, or whatever, it's amazing how much love you find yourself feeling for that person.
It is incredible. It's so powerful, but it's just the most amazing feeling.
Yeah, to the point that you even, well, for me, I swear I'm getting more emotional like every I keep joking that I'm getting like more and more gay every day. Because the other day me and Mosh were watching Queer Eye on Netflix.
I love Queer Eye.
It's so good.
It's so good.
And we were watching this episode where it was sort of like a similar situation between you and your mum. So it was this black woman that was in the South, and her son came out as gay, and she's like a very strong presence in her community and in the church. And
I remember that one.
And then she then she has all the makeover and everything, and she's like a lovely lady, and then she talks about at first that she struggled with it and stuff, and then eventually she does this where she talks to each one of them and says how beautiful they are and what they've given to the world. And I was like, Mosh always takes the piss because he knows that I'm going to cry. He's like, are you crying yet? Are you crying yet? And then like literally every time she was saying like how nice like each guy from like, and then talking to her son, and I was like,
literally, mate. Oh, mate, I'm literally like reliving it in my brain. I love Queer Eye. It's one of the only series I literally remember every episode, and just the people. It's just
it's so good. I think,
absolutely.
I think like coming to like to realize my sexuality properly is like, once you've like embraced that LGBT plus like community, it makes, for me, it's made me so less judgmental. Like we've watched like Drag Race and like Queer Eye and all that sort of stuff, and like I can be honest, in the past if I saw a bloke dressed up as a woman, I'd be like, why the hell is he wearing that for? That's a bit odd.
Yeah.
But once you sort of embrace all that culture, it just makes you such a, like, you know, like, you see people as like, that's what they want to be. If they want to dress up as a woman, then that's totally fine. Or if they want to be like, you know, the guy that does hair on Queer Eye, he's hilarious and I love him because he's just so, like, you know, like with his heels and walking around and his like flicking the hair and everything. And I'm like, I love you because how much you've embraced yourself as a person.
So fabulous.
Yeah.
So fabulous.
Yeah. And said, like, you know, and I wonder how much bravery, like, anybody, like, has to, you know, be brave enough to be, to be like that, you know. And it's like, I'm not like that, but I'm like, when I see people and meet people like that, I'm like, go ahead, like, go ahead, be whoever you want to be, because it's like, and every person that I've come across in our community is so friendly and so non-judgmental, and, you know, and yeah, and I bet that particular guy is like, every time they actually, all those guys are so, like, amazing, like, friendly and super, like, you know, and all that sort of stuff. You just want to hang around with them, to be honest.
Yeah, literally every episode, it's like, I wish you were my best friend.
Yeah, so
come to my wedding.
So, but yeah, if anybody hasn't seen that show, you just need to, because it's so uplifting and so, like, yeah, so beautiful in terms of how caring it is and everything.
It's just the most incredible content. Like, just watch it, absorb it, and love it.
Yeah, yeah, no. So, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's so valuable life lessons in terms of, we just need to, because sadly there's so much hate out there for, like, and obviously at the moment it's like, we've got to remember that, you know, we're all in this together as a, I've gone very deep right now, sorry. We're all like in this together as a human race, and sometimes I think we forget that, and we do, like, you know, we end up focusing on our own lives and stuff, and we need to realize that we're all going through the same things all the time, and, you know, life's too short to be judgmental about others and whatever, you know. So yeah, it's all about just saying to young people or older people, just, if you want to be who you want to be, you know, do what you want to do.
Live your truth. Be your most authentic self.
Yeah. So no. Sorry. Yeah, I did go a bit deep there. Sorry.
Okay.
But yeah. No. It is so nice to see how much love you have for, like, Rosa and everything and stuff like that. So
thank you.
It's all right. I even found myself get a little bit, like, you know, so it's fine.
Do you need it?
No, I'm all right. But yeah, no.
I could talk about it all day.
Yeah. Great. So, and congratulations, you're, like, officially like engaged now, right, and everything, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, congrats for that.
Official or anything, but yeah.
Yeah, cool. Oh, sorry, was I not meant to say anything?
No, it's fine.
Oh, okay, phew. Okay, phew. No, congrats. Tell me, I like the way I'm looking at my questions, like, this side, and I'm like, not even, this is what I do every time. I do like a load of prep, and then I end up like not.
That's good though, because I mean, this is the best way to do it, right? I think
as
long as it's like a sort of like a guideline, but it's always great if you end up not having to look at it. You've got a great conversation. No,
I made my last guest laugh last week. I talked to, like, a filmmaker friend of mine, and he was like, I said, oh, I only do it to be nosy, just to see what other people are doing. So, and also to give people, like, platforms to talk about themselves and to talk about, like, creative and important stuff, and I think you're, like, a very, like, inspiring person. I know a lot of people, when they say, oh, like, you're such an inspiration, but which us in like our disabled community, you used to hear that all the time, going, I can't believe you do what you do.
Got out on the bus, well done.
Well done. Like,
Um,
you know. And then, or one time at university, I had a guy that was like, I can't believe, you know, you deal with what you do, and like, you know, and your muscle pain and every day, and like, and he even said to me like, why don't you smoke weed? Because that makes you like, you know, it make you feel better with your legs. And I was like, well, first, no, and second, I'm just like, we're just all dealing with our own shit, so we don't need some random person coming up to us going how much of an inspiration we are, because we're not. We're just dealing with our own stuff.
Exactly. Like we've all got things going on in our lives, and it just happens to be that, you know, more often than not within the disabled community, that are one of our perhaps struggles or hurdles or whatever you want to call it is more obvious, that you can see it. That's it. It doesn't mean that any you know, the guy next to us isn't going through you know, just as much
just as much challenges and stuff, and inspiration. Oh,
thank you. I take that as a compliment.
No, I do, because I think it's important to just like share what you believe in, and I bet you get like, you know, kids come up to you, and younger kids, because you've done lots of like talks in schools, haven't you, and stuff like that.
Yeah, loads.
Has that been like really interesting to go in and talk to young kids and stuff?
Yeah, I love it. Like, it's so much fun, and especially, I mean, most of the stuff that I've done has been in primary school, so you know, youngest of the youngest, and they're just so honest, and that's what I love about them. Like,
it's funny.
They have no filter, and it's good, because I want to give them that positive, like that good experience of interacting with a disabled person and being able to ask what they want to ask, because they've met someone that they perhaps haven't met before, who's in a wheelchair, and they don't quite understand yet how they navigate life as a wheelchair user. And it's like, you know, how do you go to the toilet? Were you born in a wheelchair? You know, stuff like that, which, you know,
that's hilarious.
When you think about it, it does tickle you. It's like, that's genuinely, they have no idea, and they're only going to learn if you're the one that gives them an insight into my life. So
yeah.
I think it's really important.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting, because I was like, me and Mosh were talking about like similar things like last night and whatever, and I was like, when we have kids, I was like, it's going to be so interesting, because it's going to be like he's Muslim, and obviously me having cerebral palsy, I was like, our kids are going to be like hopefully be like savvy in terms of like, it's okay, we have like, you know, one of my dad has like disabled friends, and then like whatever. So and you know, he keeps joking about how he wants us to have kids, and then our kids to speak in, because Mosh's family is originally from Bangladesh, so he wants to make sure that his children can speak Bengali, which is the language that they speak.
Amazing.
So he's like, yeah, you know, our kids are going to be really impressive with like speak different language. And I was talking to someone at work the other day. I was like, I need to try and learn the language, because I feel like I'm going to get slagged off by my kids.
Yeah,
where they're like, you know, old redhead daddy can't speak the language, so let's
have you decided on like the naming and stuff? Like, are you redhead daddy, or what about that?
I just think of like, we started watching Modern Family, and because Mosh, have you seen Modern Family at all?
I haven't yet. No.
Oh, it's good. It's a funny show. It's really good. I recommend it. No, and there's this two gay guys that are in the show, and it's this redhead guy and then this quite flamboyant guy, and they're just hilarious, and they adopt a beautiful little girl from Vietnam, and they raise her. And we were discussing about that and stuff, but yeah, my mum would probably listen to this and be like but yeah, I think it's crazy. I don't know, if you guys have thought about like long stuff like that, but it's like as soon as you find the person that you know, well, hopefully, unless we seriously upset them.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we got this to remind us that you know. So yeah, once you know have found that person, you automatically, well, for me, it's when you automatically start thinking about all that stuff.
All that stuff.
And yeah, I think for me uh, as a gay person, I was like, for a while, it was me putting pressure on myself in terms of like offspring.
Yeah.
So as sadly in like the male culture, we have this like pressure of like, you know, having kids and like the whole like back to however ridiculous amount, 100 years, it's all about like heirs and stuff and keeping the family going and all that stuff and all that and talking about that. So I think for a long time it was like, first it was like, okay, so if I admit that I like guys as well, does that mean no girls will want to touch me ever again because I say I like guys? So that was the pressure for me. One of them. And then also it was like, I've always wanted to be a dad, like always. And I was like, oh, well, I've always wanted to be a dad, so how does that work and stuff? But there, obviously, today there's so many different ways to like have kids and stuff like that.
You'll be such an amazing dad. You'll be so much
fun. Oh, bless you. Yeah, so yeah, no, I've always wanted to. Yeah, I don't know. Have you ever? Sorry, that sounds like a very personal question as well. But have you ever felt like you'd want to have kids? Or
yeah, it's definitely been a thought. I think we've got like stuff we want to achieve. I think before we think about that.
Like like career and financial stuff and all that. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I kind of I kind of don't want to be working in a Tesco Express when I'm trying to like take care of a kid. So yeah. So but
it's cool to think about.
Yeah. So, and Mosh, every time we watch Modern Family and see like the cute little kid, he's like, "Oh, she's so cute."
Yeah.
And yeah. So, and men can get broody as well as women. So,
of course.
Again. So, anyway, I'm going to try and get back to my questions now.
Oh yeah.
So you sort of touched upon it like a little bit, but what would you say is like the best part of being in like the sporting community, and then what would you say needs to be improved upon within that space? Some two tricky questions there.
The first one, what was the first one again? Sorry.
So yeah, let's go.
Let's start with number one.
Yeah, cool. We'll do number one first. The first one is, what do you think is the best part of being like in the sporting like community and stuff like that?
I feel
what's the best part for you?
Like sport generally, like so many people love sport, whether it's participating in sport or watching it. You always have that sort of like common thing with someone, because sport is just everywhere. But it's just, for me, I've always been able to compete in sport and not really think about, being disabled or being queer or anything like that. It's just sort of like, I'm here because I love sport. I'm not bad at it. And we're all here for that same reason, so let's just get down and do it. It's kind of like it really is, when you strip it down to what it is, it doesn't discriminate, and it's just a lot of fun. So that's why I love sport. It challenges me.
Yeah, cool. No, yeah, it's sort of like, I guess it's sort of the way to sort of leave all that other stuff behind and just focus on one particular thing and one particular goal and stuff like that.
Yeah, like it's a cool thing to have as a focus. It's a really good outlet. Sport is always a great outlet, But yeah,
to get those like, and I bet like as everybody does sport, you automatically feel so much bettering yourself, like after you've done like well, or after you've had like a good session? I bet you come off like buzzing, right, and everything.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think there's a lot to be said about just what it can do for like your mental well-being. Participating in sport, it always makes me feel so much better. Having to just completed a session, whether it's good or not, the fact that I completed it is like that's the win right there. Or going to a competition and if it's just zero, like just 1/100th of a second faster, like that's just huge. Or just being able to get stuck into something and getting it done, completing it.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, no, I need to get back in the gym. I need to. I'd feel so much better physically. You're going to be like badgering me now from now on. Be like, yeah. Like, Harry, the gyms are open now. Like, Harry, the gyms are open now.
Oh.
Old.
Morning. I'm joking. I won't be up at 6 in the morning.
Say that. I like getting up early. I like doing. I do my early shifts at work, and I way prefer doing earlies than.
I prefer the idea of that.
Yeah.
It's like my structure is totally up to me, and it just happens to later in the day.
Yeah. It just depends what mood you're in. Yeah. Yeah. It just depends if my legs want me to get up. So.
Yeah, that's it. It.
And then what would you say? You sort of touched upon like what the sporting community needs to improve upon, but is there anything else you wanted to touch upon in terms of?
Yeah, I think so. Within sport, obviously, you've got so many different sports, and then within each sport, you've got these national governing bodies, and it really has to start from within. Then I think, and something that I've actually been a part of, which is a new thing which is launched, is that British Athletics have created a athlete pride network, which is the coolest thing. So that's literally just like launched like within like the last few weeks, and it's not just for people within the community, it's for allies as well, and it's for anyone really, athletes, coaches, volunteers, like refs, just it's for everyone who wants to sort of be a part of creating a safer place for our community in sport, or at least as a start in athletics. And I think if more national governing bodies took that approach of creating this network, creating this safe space within sport, it would just do a whole lot of good for the sport and for the athletes within it. Because now I feel a sense of reassurance that whenever I do become a world contender and I'm out there competing at major championships, no matter where I travel around the world, whether it's like Russia or Saudi Arabia or anything like that, I know that I'll have the support, and I can talk about any worries that I might have within this network. And it's nice to have that's that safe space, and they're a part of the group who aren't necessarily out, and that's literally like kind of a lifeline for them. So there's I can't measure it really. Like it's a very important thing to have. So we need more of that.
Yeah. I guess to have that sense of like security as well, saying like you can go out to these countries or out to like competitions and be like, I don't have to hide that particular part of myself.
It's just knowing you've got the support of your team like fully, and the people within the team, and that means a lot.
Cool. No, that sounds awesome. No, that sounds really good. What and like what is their main aim for that? Like have they like published like an end goal for that, or is it just an ongoing?
It's so new. It's so new. It's early days. There was basically a meeting I think last year in December where they got some core people together who are now the core founder members of the Pride Network. So it's still I think they're pretty confident on what they want to achieve, but just how they do it. And obviously as things develop and as times go on, there'll be more conversations and more things to do. But I think it's a work in progress.
Cool.
But an exciting one.
yeah, that does sound like super exciting.
Mm.
So leading into like when you said about the core members of that, is there anybody in particular that inspires you, like at the moment, or has always inspired you in terms of an individual?
Some great guys who are core members. So you've got Tom Bosworth, who is an incredible athlete. There's Corrine. The whole group is like built out of so many different people who come from so many different levels of the sport, from like grassroots right up until Olympics and Olympians and Paralympians. And you've got Donna, who is a previous Olympian, who's sort of heading the whole thing, which is just really cool. So it's nice. Again, that's going to be a nice part for me, is that these guys have got that experience. They've gone and travelled, and they've been in the sport way longer than I have. So I think I'll probably be a bit of a fly on the wall to begin with, just to sort of what they have to say, if they've had any issues at any point during their sort of careers, and how they've gone about it. But for me, so far, I've had no problems at all.
That's good.
Anxious to I think go to these countries which are perhaps not quite as accepting. That's where my anxieties lie. But
no, I'm not surprised about that, to be honest. I would when you on that podcast and the filmmaker was talking about, because his film was about a gay footballer, wasn't it?
Yes.
So and I remember listening, and he said he did like a screening like in Russia, and did like a.
It was that was just unbelievable.
I was like, when he was talking about that, I was like, Jesus Christ! I was like,
it's crazy to have like such an underground network, and to have this guy coming over from Britain to sort of showcase and connect with this community in Russia on such a real like underground sort of level. It's like sending a text out just before to meet, and it's like, okay, let's go. You can just imagine like
all these people come out the woodwork,
exactly. Where are they all
going? No, that's so I cannot imagine like living in those particular countries and having to
you just can't. You really can't. All you can do is just imagine, but you never really know. And it's just amazing the stories that you hear from people who have tried to connect.
I was like, when I listened to the podcast, I was like, Jesus, I was like, this man's got some balls to go over there and say. I was like, oh,
my jaw was like, what?
I'd be like screening it, and I'd be like, oh, if someone walks in, we could get arrested right now, and they'd be like, so
literally.
No,
immense.
that's
incredibly brave.
I think there's like moments like that which is like so important to sort of, especially to those communities, to sort of say, we understand what you're going through, or this is like something for you guys and stuff like that. It's important. Also, I think it's important to just try and get, of any anyone, they don't have to be gay or queer or anything, to sort of get more representation out there of people from different sexualities or different areas or races or stuff like that. So that's what I want to try and do with my filmmaking work and stuff like that. So I'm writing a new short at the moment, and the lead character is bisexual, so I'm writing that. So
that's brilliant,
which is cool.
Looking forward to it.
But I just need to borrow some of your drive, because I'm a little bit like, let's go, I have a month where I'm really and then the next month I'm like, ugh. So
that's me too. I'm excited now because I'm talking to you, and that's fun. That's exciting. But
yeah.
After
Actually,
this training, and then there's nothing else for the day. So it's Okay.
Yeah, actually, I probably said the wrong thing though. I'd say for anybody that has a passion in anything, it's okay to have like downtime and stuff, and
100%.
have breaks out. You're not a failure if you've decided to take like a month out or like a year out, or because when you've got a passion, it can get exhausting. Like you can get to the point where you've done loads of stuff and then you go, I just need to have a break from this, or
Exactly. Too much of too much of a good thing.
yeah, it can be like exhausting. So crazy exhausting. I would let let's talk a bit more about you as a person now,
Oh,
and say it's right.
that went like such.
It's not. It's not.
Perfect.
It's not therapy. Normally I'm really nice on guests, and normally I send my questions over to them so they're prepped.
I thought that
And
you said that you were going to do
yeah,
that.
yeah. And then my guest last week was like, "Oh, it's okay. You don't need to send the questions over." So I sent you the link over to the for this, and then I said, I'll send the questions over, and then I was like, no, let's not send the questions over and just see how it goes. So, but yeah, no, it's all right. It was only going to be like a chat anyway. There's no like sneaky questions to trip you up or anything.
Oh, that's good
So,
for you. No, it's cool.
what would you say, like, at the moment is like your main like strength, and then what would you say is something that you need to like improve upon, not like a weakness but as a thing you need to, it could be like an ongoing thing, or whatever, or you might think to yourself going, Harry, we've already covered this, so shut up. So
No, it's cool. That's a good question. That's such a good question. I think I try not to think too much about my strengths and weaknesses because I don't want to get too much of a of a real impression of them because things can change so quickly. But I think strengths. I think okay. Here's a strength. I don't know if it's like really cheesy or whatever, but I always try and do whatever it is I'm doing with a good heart and just with a good intention. That's sort of like the goal to whatever I do. So I think that's a good thing.
yeah.
I'm very determined. So I think that's not to be sneezed at. Oh, you stumped me on this one.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not like a solid answer. I'd agree and say that you're like very determined and obviously clear that you want to just keep like trucking on and doing what
Yeah.
you're doing at the moment and stuff.
I think it's good. It's good to set a goal. It's always good to have like something to work on and sort of envision like where you want to be. You know, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. I think it's good to think about these things, even though they're kind of scary because a year is still a long time. 2 years is even longer. And, God knows 4 years. You just don't know what's going to happen. But I think as long as you keep setting little goals, like short-term goals and long-term goals, and know that you're doing as much as you can for the most part. I mean, there are days where you just feel like training just wasn't that great today, or maybe you had too much chocolate last night, that kind of stuff, and that's fine, that happens. But just don't lose sight of it, and just just don't give up, keep working towards what you want to. It's
No,
cliche, but it's
no, it's not a cliche. It's important to it's important to say. I think my guest last week, James, that I had on, the filmmaker, he said like similar to what you said about having like smaller goals. Because I think if you do the whole, like, I used to take the mick out of people, be like, well, where do you see yourself in 5 years or whatever? And I'd be like, alive.
Yeah, literally.
Well, yeah. So, but I think it is important to have smaller ones, because if you just have that larger one, you could put so much stress on yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's something that we do quite well, I think, with my coach, is that every year, for like every season, we set goals for like each of the distances, like what we want to achieve, and our coach will set goals for what she wants us to achieve as well, which is cool. And it's nice to be able to like compare that at the end of the season and see who got it close. But it's yeah, I think it's a good way to sort of like break up. I think that's what I just do with life. I need to break things up and just in like bite-sized pieces. Yeah,
no, I don't think you can like manage something in a big, massive, great big thing, because if you say, like, you know, in next 5 years, you know, I want to have like, or the next 10 years, I want to at least have like 2 Olympic medals around your neck, then that's kind of like, you know, it's a little bit like chill your boots and whatever, and then you're automatically putting too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want to do is put so much pressure on yourself that eventually you start hating the thing that you love doing.
Yeah, because it was unrealistic, or it just didn't happen for whatever reason.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Yeah, I'd say anybody listening that has any particular goals, just do little, like, you know, and deadlines are good. I used to hate deadlines at like school or any like educational thing.
Yeah.
But when you do your own personal deadlines, it's so good, because you don't, if you don't have deadlines, you don't really get anything done.
Exactly. And make lists. I love to make lists.
Yeah, lists are good. Lists are good.
I love making spreadsheets.
Love a spreadsheet.
I love a spreadsheet.
No, that's cool.
Ridiculous.
That's cool.
People clamoring are going to be listening to this and thinking, who the hell was this kid?
Yeah, sad but true.
Yeah, really.
Nah, it's cool. And then, so my last one is I probably know the answer to this, but anyway, I'll ask it anyway. What would you say is like we're talking about goals, so what would you say is your like end goal, like your,
I think,
your main, like,
when I'll be happy and I can be content.
Jesus, okay.
Oh no, like, that was more like a question. Like, was that?
Yeah. Like, your end goal. Yeah, no, but I like the answer though. That's like, rather than, no. Where do you see yourself, like, at the end? Like, you know, what would be your ultimate thing? It doesn't have to be your ultimate. Where would you see yourself going? Okay, I've done good now, or I've done good.
I think within sport, I really want to. I'll be so proud to, you know, be selected for a major championship and to wear that, you know, that GB kit, because that's just like an incredible honor to be selected out of all the other people, and know that, you know, they put you on the start line because you're good enough. You've made it now, and that's just like really cool. And obviously, it'd be great to medal. It'd be great to get a medal at a major championship. If that happens, great. If it doesn't, no worries. And I think off the track, I think I really want to carry on, like, supporting these communities, being a positive sort of role model, as a disabled and queer person, and just sort of like lifting up our community and lifting up other people who are trying to do great things within our community, and organisations and charities and stuff like that, which is something I've been working on at the moment. So I think, just trying to do the best that I can.
Yeah, cool. No, that's all that we can do, really. So
Exactly. Yeah.
no, that's cool. That's cool. All right, I'll leave you to go, because you probably want to fly off or whatever. But I would
my training session now.
yeah. And I promise when the gym has started that I will try and get in there. So
Awesome. That would be really cool. But
no,
no
no.
pressure. If,
No, it's right. Don't worry. You haven't put pressure on me. It's fine. I would, and we definitely need to, when this is all like lifted and everything, we have like a group drink sesh with like everybody and have a good catch up and stuff. And
we could always do like a quiz now. I've been doing like a
yeah.
quiz.
Bowles has been telling me about that actually.
It's so much fun.
Yeah,
like
no, because
so much
we've been
fun.
doing our own little small one and stuff, and yeah, Bowles has been talking about that. Yeah,
That's cool.
no, it's cool. But yeah, no, we'll have like a decent catch up and everything, and hopefully I won't be like, I won't be drunk at the start of our conversation. Maybe at the end, but
I won't judge. It's all good. I'll take
cool.
you as you. Thanks a lot, Harry.
Cool.
That was awesome. That was a lot of fun.
Cool. You take care, all right?
Yeah, have a great rest of the day.
Yeah, see you later.
See you soon.
Right, bye. So that was my conversation with Lizzie. Thank you so much, Lizzie, again for coming on. I hope you had a brilliant time. I super enjoyed talking to you about all your stuff you've been up to, all your wheelchair racing. Also, I just want to say how you guys did not see this, obviously, because it's a podcast, but to just see how much of a big smile Lizzie had whenever she was talking about her partner Rosa. It was just so beautiful to see how much love she has for her fiance. Again, super congratulations on that, on becoming engaged. Such amazing news, and I wish you guys obviously all the happiness in the world. But yes, thank you so much for coming on and talking with me about all your bits, but also talking about, your own personal story about coming out. That was a privilege to hear that great, powerful story of how you handled that. So it was just amazing to have you on, and I'm super looking forward to meeting up with you guys and just catching up some more. And yeah, I'm sorry that I couldn't find your exact clip from A Cinderella Story from the film, but I hope the one that I played at the beginning of this episode is okay. And again, I wish you all the best. And yeah, so that is episode 13. That's all done. And as always, I'm going to end with something a little light-hearted. And until next time, you guys take care. Hello, me again. I just wanted to do a better intro to my little end clip that I'm playing today, and it is of a young 12-year-old boy that is singing a song about growing up as a young black lad in America. I'm sure probably a lot of you guys have seen the clip of him singing. It ended up on Good Morning America, and I just think it's a really powerful and important message that we need to listen to at the moment. So, yeah.
I'm a young black man doing all that I can to stand. Oh, but when I look around and I see what's being done to my kind, every day I'm being hunted as prey. My people don't want no trouble. We've had enough struggle. I just wanna live. God protect me. I just wanna live. I just wanna live.